So that's boxing at its finest right there. You heard it. They said it. Make that bet. Everything on the line.
Gervonta is an animal for real. Jake is too domestic. Here's the thing. Mike Tyson's an animal too. He was just 60. But he messed around and he got a prime Tank.
Gervonta Tank Davis is pushing himself harder than ever as he powers through one of the most demanding training camps of his career ahead of his clash with Jake Paul. Each workout is a war. Endless sparring rounds, lightning-fast pad sessions, and grueling conditioning drills designed to break limits. Surrounded by elite coaches and seasoned cornermen, Tank's focus and ferocity make one thing crystal clear. He's out to prove that real boxing brilliance still conquers celebrity hype. Boxing analyst Showbiz The Adult claims Jake Paul may have made the biggest mistake of his career by targeting Gervonta Davis, a fighter still in his prime and more lethal than ever. He points out that Tank has already dismantled taller, stronger rivals like Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios, showing not just knockout power, but an adaptability that defines elite fighters. According to Showbiz, Jake Paul might think he's following a familiar formula, calling out well-known names past their prime, like Nate Diaz or even teasing Mike Tyson, but this situation is on a completely different level. Tank Davis isn't a retired legend looking for a payday. He's a reigning, active world champion with speed, precision, and a killer instinct sharpened by years at the top. Showbiz argues that Jake has entered dangerous territory.
Emotionally, see if he's rattled. See, when it's all said and done, the whole talking shit goes out the window. Jake's scared. And let me tell you this too. I looked at that, I'm sizing them up. I'm looking at Tank and Jake, and I'm looking at them. Tank can reach him too. He reached Ryan Garcia. He reached Mario Barrios. I was like, he ain't gonna be able to reach him. He's gonna reach him. I saw it. Tank's gonna reach him. He knows he's gonna reach him. Listen, I wanna say this too. Funny as hell. Before I say all this, Alicia Baumgardner, shout out to you, girl. I couldn't believe out of all the women to be the first one to do 3 minute, 12 rounds is Alicia Baumgardner. And I really know if I have a great endurance, great stamina, and she's doing this shit. Shout out to Alicia Baumgardner. Because, what's her name, Layla? I don't really know her like that. But she looks like she ain't rattled by Alicia. So that's a perfect dance partner for that. Trying to drag Alicia Baumgardner into lake water, see what's going on with that. Shout out to Alicia Baumgardner. But let's get back to Tank. First of all, Tank knows what he's doing. Tank Davis, he said, he was just making all these implications that it's going to be scripted. When he said, you're paying me, and then he was like, yo, you're going to have to give me extra. And then he said that this is scripted.
At the end of the day, I gave this little guy an opportunity. He should be thanking me. I'm paying him. I'm his boss. He reports to me, and I'm going to fucking son him on November 14th. So fuck you, little man.
You paying me? Are you paying me?
Yeah.
100%? 100%. Facts?
Correct.
Yes? Correct?
Correct. I'm your daddy.
40. What 40 at?
Stepping into a fight that could expose the enormous gap between a developing entertainer and a lifelong master of the sport operating at full capacity. Still, not everyone sees the matchup as entirely one-sided. Several boxing insiders caution that Gervonta Davis may have taken a significant risk. They highlight Jake Paul's natural advantages in size, strength, and reach, factors that could shift the balance once the bell rings. While Tank's quickness, timing, and explosive knockout ability have dominated smaller divisions, taking on a heavier opponent introduces a new set of challenges that even the best can't ignore.
All of a sudden, we want to know who will win in this fight, Jake Paul or Tank Davis. It's a legit question, and I actually want to really hear your thoughts on who do you think is going to win, because I know what Vegas is saying, but I want to know what you think. You got
Personally, I think Tank too little, bro.
Yo,
I think Tank's too little.
I'm so glad you have a brain on your fucking shoulder.
I think Tank's too little.
I said, bro,
I think Tank's too little. That's what I'm saying. That weight class is for a reason.
Davis
that weight class is for a reason.
5'5", 135 pounds. Jake Paul is 6 feet, 205
That's what I'm
pounds,
saying.
Bro.
He's too
6'1",
little.
205. Everybody's like, yeah, bro, but Tank it only takes one good punch. Yes, it takes one good punch when you're about the same size. There's a 60, 70 pound difference in weight in these people. I don't think nobody puts the physics in mind. Jake Paul gets punched in the face by dudes 200 pounds with all their might on a weekly basis. 135 pound puncher, bro. If y'all remember the Mayweather versus Conor McGregor fight, Conor walks around like 180 on the regular. He's like 5'9", 180. Mayweather's like 5'7", 145. That 30 pound difference, bro. If you remember that fight, Mayweather was putting mittens on Conor. Guess what happened to Conor? He didn't hit the ground once.
No.
He lasted all 12 rounds getting hit with flurries. I'm talking about Mayweather was having his time. He's being cocky with it, hitting him with all kind of combos. And we're watching the last 3 rounds of that shit like, yo, knock him out. And you know what? He could not knock him out because Conor gets punched by people that are 170, 180 pounds on a regular. And just that 20, 30 pound difference, it was like impossible for him to do anything. And that's exactly what I feel like is going to happen versus Jake.
Experts remind fans that weight divisions exist for a reason, to ensure fair and balanced matchups, and venturing beyond them can be dangerous. Despite Davis's extraordinary skill and fighter's instinct, stepping into the ring with someone naturally larger like Jake Paul creates an unpredictable equation that could test his limits in ways fans haven't seen before. At the press conference, Davis's demeanor spoke volumes. Calm, confident, and completely unfazed, he carried himself with quiet control while Jake Paul tried to stir the crowd with taunts and theatrics. Tank's energy was different, focused, and professional. Every word, every glance reflected the mindset of a man who's been to the mountaintop and knows what true preparation looks like. For Gervonta Davis, this fight isn't about likes, followers, or headlines. It's about defending boxing's honor, proving that timing, technique, and composure still define greatness.
In the press conference, and you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's gonna get this money for sure because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games. Don't hit him in the back of the head. Don't rabbit punch him. Don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson. First of all, Mike Tyson, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not going to have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash, like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I gotta say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn. This turn of these exhibition fights and people not caring about the belts and all of that stuff came with Floyd Mayweather Jr.
His presence alone reminded everyone what a real champion looks like. While Jake sought the spotlight, Tank let his silence do the talking, disciplined, composed, and ready to destroy. That press conference made one message unmistakable. Tank Davis isn't showing up to perform. He's showing up to dominate. Legendary trainer and commentator Teddy Atlas drew parallels between Jake Paul's upcoming challenge and the exhibition between Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather. But this time, Atlas warns the stakes are much higher. Though Jake might enjoy an edge in size and reach, Atlas believes experience, control, and composure will decide the fight. Davis, he says, has spent a lifetime mastering the craft under real pressure, an experience that no influencer bootcamp can replicate. Unlike Logan's defensive approach against Mayweather, Jake will be facing a relentless, predatory fighter who capitalizes on every mistake. In Atlas's eyes, Tank's precision, intelligence, and timing will neutralize Jake's physical advantages completely. Meanwhile, analyst Luke Thomas offered a deeper look into Gervonta Davis's mindset as the fight draws near. While acknowledging Tank's trademark knockout power and deadly finishing instinct, Thomas noticed a shift, a new calm, and almost meditative focus. Not fear, but awareness. The mark of a fighter who knows the magnitude of what's coming. Thomas believes Davis understands this fight represents more than money or fame. It's a battle for boxing's identity. As celebrity fighters blur the lines between sport and spectacle, Tank sees this as his chance to remind the world what real skill looks like. Thomas explains that moments like these test more than muscles and reflexes, they test patience, emotional control, and mental clarity under extreme pressure. If Davis channels that energy correctly, it could sharpen his timing and elevate his performance to new heights. If not, the weight of expectation might work against him. But either way, Thomas believes we're witnessing an evolved version of Gervonta Davis, a fighter now motivated by legacy, not just victory. And when the bell rings, one truth will finally be revealed: whether pure skill and discipline can still overpower fame, size, and the illusion of stardom.